Here's my first ever game against Magnus Carlsen, and let's see how it went. Here I was playing black and I pre-moved the move b6, because although it's not a completely sound opening, but it works well for blitz. For example, if white goes some normal move like e4, b6, black can bring their bishop out to b7, put some strong pressure along this diagonal, and black has some interesting counter-attacking ideas here. But I gotta tell you, the dude was lucky, because after I pre-moved the move pawn to b6, he clearly could not be aware of that, but he played the move g3, which is the only move which possibly refutes black's idea. I mean, this b6 stuff works against literally pretty much any other move of white, but not g3, because after g3 pawn b6, white plays bishop g2 first, and he takes over this diagonal. I cannot play bishop b7 myself, and that kind of ruins that entire setup. So I wasn't happy about that. I had to play knight c6. You could say it's not the end of the world, which is true, but you know, when you're playing against the world's best player, getting a disadvantage in an opening is not very nice. Anyway, the game continues. White played pawn d3, bishop b7, knight f3, knight f6. By the way, another interesting thing about this game is that I actually haven't realized that I'm facing Magnus Carlsen for quite a long time. I was just chilling, playing a number of blitz games one after the other, and so I didn't really pay that much attention to their nicknames, and it was Magnus Carlsen. He played under his DrDrunkenstein nickname. Rumors has it that he plays under that nickname when he's drunk. Of course, I'm not sure if that's true or not. Maybe I was facing Drank Magnus, but whatever, the game continues. He castled, I played pawn d5, knight c3, pawn to e5. And in this position, white played knight to d2. It's a standard idea for the King's Indian defense, and here white is playing the King's Indian defense with reversed colors. White wants to prepare this move pawn e4, but I don't like it too much. It's, I think, a little bit of a passive, so at this point I was quite happy about how the game went. I played d4, which breaks white's intent to play pawn e4, pushes the knight away, and actually, in this position, I can say that I kind of bounced back after a bad opening with that move b6 and unlucky event that white countered that with g3. So here, black achieved a good position. Carlsen missed up some chances here. Anyway, here I played bishop e7. White decided to trade off the knights. Bishop takes, and here recaptures. And here Magnus played pawn to e4. And in this position, I played the only move that I'm really sad about in this game, really. I played pawn takes c3. Now, for those who are new to the game, may think it's an illegal move. It isn't. It's called en passant. So why is this move something that makes me so depressed? Well, let me give you some context about that. 11 years ago, I recorded a video about a similar positional idea, that when there is tension between pieces, you should not take, because that helps your opponent to become more active, and I formulated the rule to take is a mistake. Since that time, I've taught this concept to hundreds of students, if not thousands. Other YouTube influencers picked it up from me, so everybody's aware about that, and here I am playing pawn takes c3. Now, the move is bad for the reasons that I've described so well in my previous videos. When you release the tension, you help your opponent to get more active. Now, this rook is getting involved, the bishop becomes active, white's knight gets a juicy square e4, and overall that makes white's position a lot more active. Anyway, somehow I played it. Here I continued with bishop g5, which looks like a logical move, because the bishop was dealt here on f6, and as I relocated to g5, it has a target. It turns out there is a tactical weakness in this move, which we'll see in a moment. White played knight e4, which activates the knight as well as supports the pawn, so I played bishop h6. Here Carlsen played a good move, queen h5, which threatens this scholar's checkmate on f7, so I castled. And in this position, Carlsen actually missed the winning shot, which was knight to f6. He instead played bishop d2, which is a fine move, just develops a piece, but instead knight f6 could actually win the game for white right away. The point is, it checks the king, and after this trade, white recaptures the bishop on h6, and black's castling is completely ruined, this pawn cannot be defended, and white is just winning the game. Carlsen, luckily for me, missed the shot. He played a more simple move, bishop to d2. By the way, I didn't mention that it was actually a bullet game, so don't judge Carlsen and myself too much. It was just a bullet game. Here I played queen d7. I also failed to notice that there is this knight to f6 idea, but after queen to d7, I kinda provoked white to play that, because now knight f6 seems like a fork, and so here Carlsen noticed that and he played the move knight f6. Actually, black's position was already kind of uncomfortable, so although black could probably makes much better move instead of queen to d7, but it was already quite tough. Now pawn takes f6, queen takes h6, and here actually, yeah, because of the king is so weak, White's position is probably already winning here. He's attacking this pawn on f6. Anyway, I played f5, at least to do something about that. And at this very moment, Carlsen played a move which made me realize that I'm dealing with somebody special. Because what would any normal human being play here as white? Okay, that's the move queen to g5. Check to the king, and you attack this pawn on f5, and that is actually winning for white. In fact, Stockfish says that here after king h8, if white continues with this in-between move queen f6, then he can win on the spot with king g8, and now rook takes f5 not only grabs a pawn, but here comes rook g5 on the next move, and white wins. So that was the winning variation. Although Magnus didn't play it, let's come back, but he played another move, which was rook takes f5. And at this moment, I realized that I'm dealing with somebody special, because again, that was a bullet game, where normally each side plays a move within like 1 or 2 seconds, something like that. So finding these unusual tactics in a bullet game, you know, when there was a simpler alternative, as a mark of a really advanced level player. So at this moment, I actually looked at his nickname and I realized that I'm facing Magnus, and I was like, what the heck? I played this b6 weird opening against the best player in the world. Anyway, White's idea here is if queen takes f5 and Black has nothing else to do, because otherwise rook g5, White has bishop to e4. And that attacks the queen, and the queen cannot go away, because then queen takes h7 would be a checkmate. So this little tactics basically wins the game for White. I'll show you the rest of the game real quick. So I played here knight e7, so that after this trade, at least I finally opened up my bishop, which got passive from the very beginning of the game. Here queen g5, knight to g7, and Carlsen played e4, pawn f6, queen g4, pawn f5. White has a material advantage, so objectively speaking, this is winning for White, but I'm trying to get my chances to open up this diagonal and hoping that, you know, theoretically, if White blunders something, maybe Black can create some counterplay. But Carlsen made a smart thing of trading pieces off, so that instead of playing moves which are objectively the best, he went for bishop h6, which attacks this knight, and after rook to f7, he trades here on g7, rook takes, queen f6, king h8. Here he played rook f1, and after I played rook g8, and you know, there can be an idea that maybe Black has something there, not much really, but anyway, he played rook to f7, offering an exchange of rooks once again. And now after this trade, you know, Black has no counterplay anymore, and everything here is falling apart, so White is just winning the game. So smart thing for White to trade off pieces so that I don't have any counterplay, and he can just convert his material advantage. Overall, clearly not the best game for both of us. We both missed a couple chances here in an opening and early middle game, but I was still impressed that in that position he could find that tactics within seconds, which was quite cool. Now, if you'd like to support my mood after this defeat, give a like to this video, and also if you want to know how Carlsen used our dirty opening trick to defeat a GM in 11 moves, check out this video right there. Let me know what you think about the game, and I'll talk to you soon.